Hey everyone,
Sutton
here. Welcome to installment 2 of the Sample Challenge series. In every video description, I leave a link to a sample pack folder, to which my producer audience is free to download and make a track that's like 30 seconds or longer. They send it back here, I show you how I made my submission, and then I'll play theirs. In the last episode, I made a beat reminiscent of Timbaland. It was super fun to make, and hopefully a nostalgic flashback doesn't interrupt anyone. But in today's episode, I'm going to reflect on a universal bonding experience that my generation holds closely to our hearts. Vine. Vine is the epitome of how clever people can be with 6 seconds of recording time. The most popular videos on the platform always fascinate me because it's really shown me how much information my brain can recall just by seeing a video thumbnail. Most people who watch these videos know the exact volume, pitch, and inflection of whatever that video is as soon as they see an image. If you have never watched these Vines and you don't believe me, grab someone who does and show them this picture. And they should say,
Boy, if you don't get
I've heard a lot of people try to do remixes of Vines where they just make a trap beat and then they loop a popular Vine on there. But I thought with this episode of the Sample Challenge, I tried to take that up a notch. If you want to skip to the final product, just go to this timestamp right here. The reason I'm not playing the track beforehand is because I want to give you, the audience, an authentic experience of what it's like to have a track go from vague concepts to a coherent piece. All right, so let's get into it. So these are the samples I provided. So if you happen to recognize these samples, they're actually from the track I've been talking about a lot recently, which might be on my SoundCloud. And because I've heard this song so many times, I really want to change the character of that first synth. So after I threw it into a sampler, I went to the oscillator tab. That way I could feed a sine wave into it and it would start sounding kind of bit crushed and weird. After that, I got my clap loop, then I moved it 1/64th early on the grid to give it a swing. In my video where I was explaining the vocal chopping intro might be, I talked about beats transient mode, which I will actually show you right here with the shaker loop. After playing with the parameter, I ended up turning the shaker into more of like a hi-hat pluck. I'm also personally really tired of that accordion loop because I've heard it so many times. So after throwing into a sampler, I went from beats mode into texture mode. So when I played it at different speeds, it kind of sounds textury. And I threw a frequency shifter on there so it would sound more atonal and dissonant. Now, I go through lots of different rhythms with the sound, but this is the first one I got. So I used 2 kicks in this song. Originally I only had one, and it's the one that I made using these samples. I first threw my clap into the sampler and moved it about halfway through the sample and turned it into a pluck by turning down the sustain and giving it a really short decay. Then in that same group I dragged in an instance of operator where I just got a sine wave and made a little pitch bend so it would sound more like a kick. Then after saturating both of them in the same space, it sounds like this. In terms of arrangement, I wanted to make a neat little fill right before it goes into the main part of the track. In order to make the 808 this time, I took the main synth sound and I actually just EQ'd it until I heard a sub. If you're not wearing headphones, you're not going to hear this just yet. Then I saturated it through a saturator, drum bus, and overdrive and got something more like this. So one of my favorite production methods, which you're seeing sped up right here, is manually making pitch bends for all of my 808s, so everything has character. And after moving everything down a couple semitones, I noticed I actually preferred the main chord to be an octave up. So after applying some vinyl distortion on my 808 for some stereo effects, the second half of the track sounds like this. So I kept my kick in the first half, and in the second half, I found another kick from my sample library and saturated a bit. So this beat sounds really simple right now. This is when I started thinking about all those vines, and I thought it'd be really fun to chop them up. There's no special process here besides hearing a vine, hearing the rhythm of it, and seeing where it can fit. So at this point, I would say it's safe enough to show you the final beat. And here we have it.
Guess what I mean? Not my dad. Okay, no chicken.
Welcome to Chili's.
Guess what I mean? Okay, no chicken. Guess what I mean?
That was super fun to make after adding all of those vines. I hope you enjoyed that part. So now, as promised, after I play my submission, I'm going to be playing you the submission of everyone else who submitted one in. Also, a quick heads up, when I get submissions, I actually don't listen to them until when I'm recording right now. Submission, so you get my reaction right here on the spot. First, we have a submission here from Eli, playing right now. Hell yeah. Or heck, whichever one you prefer. All right, this next one is from Jeeves. Dude, hit it with that switch up. There we go. There was the snap. This next beat is from, I want to say, Fojin, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. That switch up. Hey. Whoa. That was really cool. This last submission right here is from West. All of those submissions were fire. Thank you so much for sending those in. Just as a quick reminder, we have the Sample Challenge Archive, which is a second SoundCloud dedicated to uploading all of these tracks and little mini mixes. So you'll be able to find everything on there. I'm really excited because I'm gonna have a lot of updates for you guys very soon, working on lots of new music. December 16th, I am playing this show right here in Brooklyn, so you should come to that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, have a good one.